Seo-Jin is an architect with family trauma. In a meeting with his colleagues discussing a new project, one of the employees asks him, "What does home mean to you?" He struggles to answer for a while and then starts feeling dizzy. His friend notices that he can't complete the sentence, so he gives him a sign to leave the meeting room. Seo-Jin, having a panic attack, gets reminded of the tragic accident that killed his wife 6 months ago. He remembers his last moments with her in the car and him leaving, but this time there's a little girl wearing a red dress waiting next to the merry-go-round. He walks to the little girl to see her face, but he suddenly wakes up from the hypnosis. He's been trying to find the culprit for his wife's hit and run through digging into his subconscious. His doctor advises him to take his medication and stop the hypnosis treatments as it's getting too much for his health, but he refuses to give up. The doctor is wondering about the meaning of the balloon and amusement park that he keeps seeing, as it has nothing to do with his wife's death. At home, his mother greets him and asks how his day was. He asks about his daughter Jenna, and his dad scolds him for overworking and neglecting her when she needs him the most. He goes to check on his daughter. He enters a room full of a little girl's pictures and some posters as well. He tells his daughter not to stay in the room, but she tells him that her room is scary and it's not her real room since they left their home after her mom died. She asks when her mom is coming back. He answers that she's in Canada and coming soon. She asks him to go and get her favorite toy from their real house. Seo-Jin goes to his house to get the toy. He enters Jenna's room and suddenly gets a vision of his wife holding her as a baby. At his workplace, Seo-Jin gets a call from an orphanage. They tell him that his missing sister Yoo-Jin from 1996 has been found. Seo-Jin then goes to meet her. He tells her that he admires how persistent she is to find her real family after such a long time, but she tells him that it hasn't been long since she found out. After her foster parents died, she found out that she was adopted while dividing inheritance. Seo-Jin, skeptical of her, asks why she doesn't have any memories of her childhood, as she went missing at 6 years old. He also says she looks and sounds different than what he expected but couldn't explain. She says that he also doesn't remember. She tells him that she recognized him from the first sight. Seo-Jin explains that he met many people claiming to be his sister, and he struggled seeing his parents sad after finding out they weren't, so he'll wait until the DNA tests are out. She agrees. Seo-Jin wakes up to his mom crying. The DNA test results are out, and the woman he met turned out to be his real sister Yoo-Jin. He couldn't believe the news. The family gathers at dinner, and the mom announces that Yoo-Jin will be staying with them since her adoptive parents have passed away, and she took time off from her work to get to spend time with them. Jenna tells her dad that she doesn't want an aunt, she wants a mother. Yoo-Jin then tells her that she will be there for her when she needs someone. The family goes with Yoo-Jin to pick up her stuff from her workplace. Her colleague comes to say goodbye and expresses how sad she is with Yoo-Jin leaving. She tells them that Yoo-Jin is the best worker. She deals with old and stubborn patients professionally, and they're lucky to have her. Seo-Jin's dad tells him about the day his sister went missing, asking if he remembers how she disappeared, but he doesn't. Seo-Jin has a work meeting at night, so he couldn't pick up his daughter. Yoo-Jin calls him and says she already picked her up from school, so he can be late. Seo-Jin wakes up to find Yoo-Jin braiding Jenna's hair in her room. He asks his daughter if she slept well, and she tells him that she wants Yoo-Jin to keep picking her up from school as all her friends like her. During breakfast, the family is laughing and talking, thanking Yoo-Jin for preparing the meal early in the morning and making all these efforts for them. Outside, Seo-Jin thanks Yoo-Jin for coming back, saying they were sad even with him around. She tells him to relax, she's back, and from now on, he can stop worrying about this family. Seo-Jin tells his doctor that he feels something weird going on with his sister Yoo-Jin. His doctor says that he should stop the hypnosis treatment and give her a chance, especially since she does so much for his family. He prescribes him medication instead. Seo-Jin finds out that Yoo-Jin has brought a new physical therapist for his mother. He's weirded out by the creepy touching, but his mom is proud of how she improved and doesn't seem to be bothered. Yoo-Jin tells him that he's the best one in her hospital. Seo-Jin goes to talk to his mom at night. He asks about why she doesn't go to church anymore. She says that now that she has Yoo-Jin, she doesn't need to do that. She also says that she feels like God took a family member and sent them another, implying his wife's death. Seo-Jin wakes up to drink water in the middle of the night and notices that Yoo-Jin has a tattoo on her back. He stares at it for a while and asks their housekeeper to keep an eye on Yoo-Jin because he doesn't know who she is and what she's been doing all these years. Seo-Jin is taking his daughter to her ballet class. Yoo-Jin tells him to rest at home and let her take care of it. She asks Jenna if she wants her aunt or her dad, so he angrily answers that he's the one who will take her. He gets a sudden call from the police, so Yoo-Jin tells him to go. The housekeeper suggests going with them as well. On their way to the ballet class, a man recognizes Yoo-Jin and follows her. He calls her a different name and runs after her. Yoo-Jin asks the housekeeper to take Jenna and wait for her. The man chases Yoo-Jin in the parking lot and strangles her. On their way out, they find the man's body. He's been murdered, and Yoo-Jin's button is in the crime scene. On their way back, Yoo-Jin asks the housekeeper to go on a quick trip. Seo-Jin's mom tells them that the housekeeper has run away with a man. Yoo-Jin says she's seen him with her. He finds it weird and out of the blue, but his mom stops him and orders him to eat. Seo-Jin checks the CCTV footage from the day of his wife's accident. This time he recognizes that Yoo-Jin was there that day. He goes under hypnosis again to check. This time he gets taken to the amusement park again. He tries to get out of there, runs to his wife, checks the perpetrator's car, takes a good look at his face, and finds Yoo-Jin watching them from a distance. Seo-Jin goes back home to find that Yoo-Jin brought a new housekeeper. He calls the orphanage and asks about his sister but gets surprised when they refer to her as Yoo-Jin, the name his family gave her. He asks for a meeting, but the worker said he's on a business trip. Seo-Jin finds the nurse from Yoo-Jin's workplace in an advertisement. He finds out she's a part-timer, but she doesn't know anything about Yoo-Jin. She's just been asked to act as a nurse. Seo-Jin confronts Yoo-Jin, asking who she is. He tells his family that she's not their daughter, and she's been lying to them. Yoo-Jin starts crying, saying she's sorry because she lied about her background and only wanted to look good for her family. He asks her why she was in the crime scene of his wife. His dad yells at him, telling him to get treated for his dependency on meds. That's when his mom suddenly passes out and gets taken to the hospital. Seo-Jin takes a strand of hair to get Yoo-Jin's DNA tested again. He goes home and finds his daughter distraught and weak. He asks her to sleep next to him. The mother wakes up and asks Yoo-Jin to talk to her, so she starts whispering in her ears. Jenna keeps asking for her aunt Yoo-Jin. Seo-Jin asks Jenna to tell him what Yoo-Jin has been saying to her. Jenna tells him about her friend Yoon-hee. Seo-Jin asks about Yoon-hee at school, but there's no one with that name. The detective goes to ask Yoo-Jin about the man who was murdered since she was there. He finds it weird that she changed everything in the house, even the people working there. He asks why she didn't take any pictures with the family she wanted to be a member of that well. Yoo-Jin tells the detective that Seo-Jin is mentally unstable, and since he suffered because of her, she can't do that to him. She tells him that he's been getting psychological treatment, and the housekeeper didn't disappear, she ran away. The dad, looking sick, also says he's seen her running away with a man. Yoo-Jin tells the parents to write their properties under Jenna's name, and they agree, looking like some programmed AIs. Jenna no longer plays with her favorite doll. She sits in her room staring at the window, angry at her dad for lying about her mom's death. She blames him and says she wishes he were dead instead of her mom. Seo-Jin loses his temper and attacks Yoo-Jin. His mom yells at him, saying he's the one who prevented them from finding her, saying she won't give him a penny from the inheritance. She blames him for his sister's disappearance. Seo-Jin's family is all against him. Yoo-Jin asks him if he's still doubting her as a sister. She tells him that he's only questioning her because if she's his real sister, then he can't do anything with her. That's why he's been peeping at her. Seo-Jin wakes up at night hallucinating a bunch of people. He goes out to check if someone's there. The new housekeeper was standing there like a creep. She turns around, and he sees she has the same tattoo that Yoo-Jin has. His useless doctor says his hallucinations came from not taking the medication prescribed. Seo-Jin goes to the murdered man's house and finds posters about a missing child called Yoon-hee. He goes to his apartment and finds the lights on. He finds the body of the housekeeper in the bathtub. The man who killed his wife is there. He's also the one who called from the orphanage. He tells Seo-Jin that he and Yoo-Jin have been drugging their family since the first day. If someone consumes that drug, whatever they're told becomes the truth. That's how Yoo-Jin has been controlling them. Seo-Jin asks why they're doing this. The man answers that they need a special kid for their cult, a pure untouched kid to become their god. The kid needs to be perfect with no scars. Yoon-hee was a victim, and the man that Yoo-Jin killed was her father. So their new target is Jenna. They're prepping her to become their new god. Seo-Jin goes back home to find all the useless people, the detective, the doctor, and that family, gathered for an intervention with Yoo-Jin's planning. The doctor testifies that Seo-Jin is mentally ill and cannot take care of his daughter. They arrest him for abusing Jenna. Yoo-Jin tells Seo-Jin that his wife told her everything about how he neglected his family for work. He prioritized money over his wife and daughter. His wife was a believer in the cult. She was chosen but couldn't continue with them. She tried to tell her husband but failed to do so. Seo-Jin tells her to go to hell. She tells him that hell is where he's at, with no one by his side. Not even his daughter wants him. They get into a car accident on the way to the station, so Jenna stops a car to get him home, but they turn out to be people from the cult. After another accident, he gets a vision of his wife and apologizes to her for what he did. She asks him to protect their daughter. Seo-Jin follows Yoo-Jin and Jenna up the hill. He takes his daughter back, but Yoo-Jin attacks him with a knife. Yoo-Jin tells him that she wanted to be the chosen kid but she couldn't, so she served at their temple for her entire life and wanted to complete this mission. When Seo-Jin gets the upper hand in the fight, Yoo-Jin tells him that the balloon was blue the day she went missing, that everything would have been different if he didn't let go of her hand. Jenna goes near the cliff as Yoo-Jin goes to get her. Seo-Jin pushes her. She tries to hypnotize him again with all that childhood talk, but he suddenly remembers that the balloon was yellow, not blue. He lets her fall, and she crushes her skull. After some time has passed, Seo-Jin receives the DNA test results, but he shreds them without opening them, refusing to know if she was his real sister or not.